one down on prep. So I'm going to set you and talk you through the current setup in terms of what the first week of prep looked like. Obviously cardio's in straight off the bat, so this is hit fasted every single morning, 20 minutes to start off. Typically that 20 minutes does not start till heart rate is above 120. It needs to stay within the realm of 120, 130. Nothing too high impact. We don't really want to accumulate too much fatigue at this point, so it's nice steady state cardio. Then on top of that, we're also hitting 10,000 steps, which is separate to cardio. Of course, steps are neat, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Cardio is thermic effective exercise. So separating the two, so output's gone from basically 8,000 steps to now 10k in 20 minutes fasted. On top of that, abs every single morning, post cardio, 10 sets, 3 different exercises, 10 reps. The reason for that is because midsection control in men's physique is so important, so we can't neglect it. I train abs consistently in the off season, but every single morning now for that midsection control. Then we hit a round of posing every single morning, just to get that posing stamina up, so when we're on stage, we're not gassing out. Doing everything at the minute to stand out for the right reasons. Scale weight, funnily enough, is actually up. So scale weight's gone up 2 pounds as of this morning, and then check-in will be ran over to Cal tomorrow morning. So that's the first week wrapped up. We're going to run you through what the current nutrition plan looks like. So in terms of training day, non-training day, what I'm eating at this current point, which is now 12 weeks out. So you're just going to spend the day with me, understanding exactly what I'm doing day in, day out in prep. That's what this series is all about. Keep it real, keep it raw, keep it exciting. Cardio done. So 20 minutes, 200 calories, average heart rate 137. First cardio session, I actually burnt 300. That's how unfit I was. We're going to hit into abs now, 10 sets, controlled, regular sit-ups on a slight incline / decline today, then into leg raises, and then very simply into some oblique work, which is just body weight. Again, all for midsection control, just because you often see people on the men's physique stage letting the midsection fall out. That's not going to be me. That is not going to be me. 45 seconds rest between each set, and straight back in. We're going to do 4 sets of these. And the key thing here is keeping it controlled, not swinging back. Just really think about the muscle that you're actually using to move your body.
Yo, I should let them rest up, let them get their breath up. Took over the net, still nobody could catch us. Middle finger over the point, I got the best luck. I'ma put the world in my hands and do a chest pump. Ain't nobody eating my nigga, I got the best lunch. With the stingray pastel, that got the best crunch. See me in a 4x4, I got the pedal punch, run it back.
This gets a lot easier through prep. The cardio's not been easy so far, because I had like 6 months of any cardio. I trained abs, but not at this frequency, so I'm sore everywhere. Calves, hamstrings, adductors, lower back, midsection kills. But in terms of do I feel like I'm on prep? Not at all. My food is ridiculously high. So I'm hoping that it comes down at some point, because, and I regret saying that, but I'm just not hungry at all. Even with this increased output, meals are just such a chore still, so I'm hoping from check-in tomorrow start to see some reduction in carbohydrates, because I think I'm still pushing. You'll see today, but still intense with food. So I'm just looking forward to actually feeling hungry. So I've not felt hungry since February. So there's no food focus, and we're only 12 weeks out. I'm sure that'll change.
I take flights, it's easy. I'm in first class, the seat back, I'm sleepy. Really not nice, but it's nice to meet me. I be in the suites, the pillow top with Reese's. Where we at? The city sit on the key ring. Hit my shit bump like bee stings in East Spring. Even if they tens, my rims I keep clean. See me on the field, kiss cam and big.
When I fail on the leg raises, so at the minute I'm typically failing on like rep 8, 2 more to get, I just bring knee raises in, simplify it a little bit. But they're no joke. Give them a try, because to hit them every single morning gets you out of bed, wakes you up.
they could never imagine. I would lay my outfits out over the mattress. That was when T-Pain took Shorty to West Canson. I'ma stick to a check, I'm like a magnet. Talking about back in the mix, I'm getting hot. Send me the Zell, I got the drop. Where niggas at? I got the drop. Never could slip, they need a mop. Back in the mix, I'm getting hot. Send me the Zell, I got the drop. Where niggas at?
We've got 5 on set 3. Couldn't even finish an E-razor, so just shows us a weakness there. So by the end of prep, that'll be a strength. It's just consistency and repetition. So we're gonna hit some oblique work now. And again, not weighted. If you think about your obliques and you start doing weighted oblique work, you're just gonna get a massive waist. And that's definitely not the goal. So 3 sets of that, and then Romeo done.
Never could slip, they need a mop. I be on the move, what could I do? Checking my phone, where he at? Never around, never be home. She got every hoodie I own, smell like cologne. Sitting right side of the Jeep, singing my song. Still got the suitcase zip, never unpack. I'ma take the Maryland click all over the map. I'ma run it up for the fam, I'm sending it back. I'ma need your hands to clap, pat on the back. Can't nobody move like this, top of the list. If I did the hook for free, I'm catching the fish.
Job done. That's the morning routine. We also hit a round of poses. We did that before cardio today. So we'll show you that in another snippet, but we're going to go into depth on posing, how I've got to where I am with posing, and how I've gone from stiff ironing board to actually having a little bit of flow, which is going to be a lot of flow come show day. So that's what a typical morning setup looks like on prep. I'm sure that cardio will increase, but 20 minutes times 7 every single day, abs 10 sets, 10 reps every single day, and then rounds of posing. We shower, we go back and work, and that's prep for you. Nothing exciting, but we're going to document the full thing. So we're going to show you what I'm eating at the minute in terms of, it's not going to be a full day routine, but we're going to show you the setup in terms of structure, training day, non-training day, and just generally what a typical day is like on prep. Right guys, so different approach for episode 2. This is a prep series. I'm going to take you on the full journey, but I also want to provide value and education so that you can see what we do when we do it. So training, nutrition, output adjustments, and really cover everything so that you can understand what it takes from a mental, physical standpoint to prep, but also you can see a data collection and what it takes in terms of the levels that you'll have to go from a nutritional standpoint, output standpoint, and training to really get on stage peeled. So I'm going to talk through the setup. You'll be surprised, but food has stayed relatively high, which to my upset, I wanted food a lot lower. But at the minute on a training day, I'm sat currently on 3,500 calories training day, which is 260 protein, 450 carb, and 70 fat. Non-training day, we're operating on slightly lower, which is 3,120 calories. We're sat 250 protein, 80 fat, 350 carb. And a lot of that is rice, a lot of that is chicken, eggs, egg whites, oats. And we're going to do a full day of eating to cover that so you can generally see what food is at. As we come in and complete the first week of prep, essentially, I don't see that dropping because scale weight has started to pull down. So conditions come in, water and inflammation's dropped off. So as you can see, when you start a prep, just because I'm 12 weeks out, that doesn't mean I need to go to a really aggressive approach. And why is that? Because in my off season, I pushed to uncomfortable levels. I sat my food at 5,500 training day, 5,000 non-training day. So the adjustment that we've seen naturally is quite a big drop off, enough to wash inflammation fluid off and enough to remove any digestive stress. So naturally, the energy that I've regained from not digesting and partitioning as many nutrients is significant, and the energy now has been put into training. So despite that drop off in food from off season into prep, we're still sat at a high amount, which means training is still on fire. Yes, we are doing cardio every single day, and NEAT has been brought up to 10,000 steps, but what we can evidently see is that water's going to drop off, energy's increased, and training is maximized. So we're 1 week in, and I really don't feel like I'm on prep, and of course that will change and we'll keep you up to date with that. But the story here is that if you really commit to your off season and you uptake your metabolic rate, you can diet off a lot more food. So don't be scared to get uncomfortable and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, because when you come to prep and when you come to dieting, it will make your life a lot easier and you won't have to diet off rabbit. Now, in terms of training setup, has anything changed since off-season into prep? No. So the training plan, the training volume, everything has stayed the same. So I've ran this plan since January. People often get mistaken, I need a new training program every 12 weeks, every 14 weeks, 15 weeks. It's bullshit, guys. Like, you don't. Generally, with your training, you want to get good at it and you want to rinse it. So the current setup at the minute is exactly the same as what you've seen. We're operating off 2 days on, which is pull and then to push. We take a rest on a Wednesday and then we operate primarily on Thursday on pull, and then we follow legs on a Friday and push with a top up of arms on a Saturday with Sunday rest, and then we just repeat that. However, one thing that I've found this year is I've moved away from your typical JP, one working set, one back off. And the reason for that is because I didn't have as much success with this. Now, I'm not denying the facts that this works, because in order to drive a hypertrophic response, we know that hypertrophy starts at rep 6 and it ends at rep 30. So this is fine. But what I actually wanted to see when I started this off season was, what is the total amount of volume I can actually recover from, rather than the minimum. And of course, everybody's different. But within the industry now, what I see is people who typically are following the working set back off set, I don't see much physique development. Whereas people who are following the higher volume, yes, you do have a working set, yes, you do have a back off set where the load changes, but you do throw additional sets in. You add intensifiers, maybe some drop sets. They're growing like weeds. Like, they are rapidly growing. And without blowing smoke up my own ass, I've added 20 kg, and I guarantee about 10 kg of that is muscle by following a higher volume approach. It's not just about the volume as well. Like, I've followed sensation and chasing that feel. I've not chased load, I've chased accuracy, and then once I've got that accuracy, I've combined it with load, and that's been the successful variable there. So we have that training schedule, but rather than following a working set and a back off set and calling it that, 2 sets done or 3 straight sets, no. Let's apply a little bit more volume, let's chase that sensation, and let's set the baseline numbers at the start of the off season and then scale them. And now we start prep 20 kg up from the peak dieting phase weight, in a really good position, feel refreshed, feel recharged. 5 days a week is enough for me at the minute. As we go further into prep and I start to feel a little bit flatter, I might add an additional arm day in to take it to 6 days, just to increase that volume in arms, because I do think they're a weak area. But training is very good, and the volume that I am following is superb, and I'm recovering superbly well from it. So that covers training, covers nutrition. So I'm really excited now, as the day really does mark 3.5 years since I last stepped on stage. So when I step on stage in September, that will be 3.5 years. I'm a lot more mature, I've got a lot better head on me now. I understand the concepts of bodybuilding a lot more. Going into this prep now, I've got a completely different mindset. And this is the first time that I've ever had a prep coach, somebody who has been brought in specifically to get me ready for a show. Whenever I competed in the past, I had just lifestyle coaches, people who didn't necessarily know how to peak me. The longest prep I've ever done going into a show is 8 weeks. So excited is an understatement to really see what I can achieve this year. We're gonna showcase condition that you guys have never seen from me. You've seen the lifestyle shape that I brought to the content last year, but this is men's physique potential IFBB pro condition. We're not playing any games here. We're going to do whatever is absolutely necessary to win in September at that regional, and then we'll take it to Rome at the Amateur Olympia the week after and see how we fare against the best in the world at the amateur standard. And if we miss there, we go to British finals in the UK in London. So we're not playing any games there. So the stage is set. You can see where the starting point is in terms of food. You can see how training is. Of course, you will see plenty more during this prep series, but I think it's important that each week I provide an oversight of where I'm at from a nutritional standpoint, an output and a training, and of course a physique update. So we've got a little bit of a round of posing to hit, so we'll showcase that. But we're feeling lean, we're feeling tighter, and mentally feeling a lot better. The off season wasn't easy, guys. Like, I was really uncomfortable towards the end, and mentally we weren't in a great spot with how I looked, how I felt, no clothes fitted, even to the little things, complete transparency, like engagement on Instagram completely plummeted. And you say that doesn't affect you, but when you invest so much into content and you don't see it getting the same return, it is quite disheartening when
a year ago you absolutely loved how you looked, and now you've gone through this phase now of really pushing yourself to an uncomfortable amount to take yourself to a completely different level. But that is done now, it's behind us. So I want to keep it all real, I want to keep it raw. Of course, we've got a few more videos dropping in Bali, and then we'll be back to Dubai and then the UK, so it's going to be an exciting prep series. But hope you took a lot of value away from this video. Of course, real, transparent. If there's anything else you want to see from the series, do drop it in the comments. But as always, guys, thank you for watching.